Okay, good evening folks, and welcome to another ZMS broadcast. This time it's the Friday Frenzy from the Southern District Wheelers. This is the stage 1 and it's the Fordcombe Loop, which is 20.5 kilometers. Map on screen now, as you can see. We're going anti-clockwise around Fordcombe. And there's about just over 300 meters of, well, it says 250 meters of climbing. So it's going to be one for the fast boys, this, I think. We've got a large field out tonight. We've got some big hitters. John Beams is with us, the winner of the Tour de Alps a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I've yet to see the rest of the field, but I know we had 81 signed up a little earlier. So we'll see how many end up on the line, but this should be a good run. Looking forward to this one with the big hitters out, and I think it's going to be one for the strong men tonight. Here we go. So you can see the riders lined up at the start line, but I'm more interested in looking at the start list. And a few notable names there. Obviously John Beam, I can see John Beams. We've got Tim Moss from Southern District Wheelers. We've got Dennis from Southern District Wheelers. We've got Keith, my teammate from OER. We've got Daniel, strong rider. Horgard is strong rider. So, and this is, obviously I can only see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the top 11. But get ready because it's about to kick off. And you can already see big watts being put out. So this is going to be fast. This is going to be furious, folks. With such a big field, we got 100 riders. So that's a great field for the first event. And we can see Tim Moss leading them out at the front. So he'll be wanting to put in a good show for the home team. You can easily spot the Southern District Wheelers shirts because they're the yellow, black and red ones, which I've spoken about in the past. Very nice jerseys and very easy to recognize even from you know, above when we're looking down at the group. But you can see that Page is leading them out at the moment. Neugebauer's there. He's a very strong rider. John Beams has just tucked in, and to be honest, although we've got a rider going off the front, he's not going anywhere, trust me. The group will keep him in check. Yeah, probably just let him have his legs for a little while. Brian Chair, CHR, I don't know how to pronounce that, but Brian Chair. But as you can see, he's not going anywhere. The group, you know, 4.8 from 5.5 from John Beams to get on his wheel, and he's brought the rest of the pack with him. So no, they're not going to let a solo rider go this early. You can see from the bottom of the screen there's a little bit of a kicker at about the 2/3 distance. That might have an effect, that might split a few, but I think by the time we get there, the war of attrition will have left just the strong riders near the front, and I think that's what's going to happen. Generally on such a short course like this, 20 kilometers, you're only looking at 30 to 45 minutes for the strong boys. So I think we're going to see a really a really tough race now. We're going to see a fast pace. I mean, 42 kilometers an hour at the moment. So we're going to see a fast pace, and we're going to see this split. And already you can see them stringing out. Riders, you know, are already strung out way off the back, and I can actually see a split in the back. Excuse me. Doug Hart, now he's an ex-time trialist, so don't let him get a gap. As we see Tim Cook from my old team, Team 3R, pulling on the front. Nice to see Tim putting in a good effort. And he's got Vanna from No Pins Race 3R with him. So yeah, nice to see some 3R boys out as well. But this is going to be tough. I think this is a step up for a lot of riders, because the pace is going to be very, very high all the way through this, and it's going to be a case of, can I hang on, as we watch Franzen push off the front. But don't expect anybody to go anywhere, folks. I certainly don't. I honestly think that this, they may well, you know, just let a bit of a gap appear at the front, but they'll soon pull it back. They're not going to let them go. There's a very high chance that this could come down to a sprint, although that kicker at 2/3, you can see the red bit on the screen, that's going to cause a few problems for some riders. Now, I don't know this David Blodgett. He's not in my database or in my rider's notes. I think it's the first time I've actually seen him. Franzen obviously is jumping to get on his wheel, and they've got a 16-meter gap. Oh, there we go. So Franzen's gone on his wheel. They've got a 17-meter gap. They need to keep an eye on this. If it gets out to more than 20, then you know, it could prove very difficult to pull back. But look at the group; they're not panicking. They're just letting them go, basically. Wout Hartveld, now he's a previous winner and a very good rider. He actually took the win in the Moon Riders Stage 2, I believe. So a very strong rider from out of the Netherlands, which is where I am at the moment, as we watch Blodgett, and the gaps come down now to sort of like 8 meters. Excuse me. So yeah, this is although the group is, you know, the group is a little bit way behind, but the thing to remember is that when you've got a rider off the front and then you've got riders in between, sort of like bridging, that sort of like helps the chasing group. But they need to pull this back. This rider's going strong off the front. Looks like they're on a bit of a downhill now, but they really need to get this pulled back. Doug Hart is pulling them along on the front, along with Greenhoug. Now, Greenhoug is a rider I know, Rasio Racing. He's a rider I know from over on Swift, I believe. He's come over a while ago now, but he's like an A+ rider. He's next level. So expect him to have a say in this race, and in fact, there you go. He's with Doug Hart, and Doug is an amazingly strong rider. Like I say, an ex-time trialist. Well, he probably still is a time trialist. I know him from way back when I lived in Leeds. And he's showing his mettle now, as we see John. So three of the well, in fact, 5 of the strongest riders very close to the front of this race now. Blodgett, Hart, Beams, And in fact, we've even got Back has got up there as well as Hartveld. So yeah, this I said it would come back together, and this may go down to a sprint, you know, unless somebody can break away on that bit of a climb, the kicker. But I don't know. I just have a feeling this is going to go to the wire. I think these riders are strong enough to go up that kicker climb in the big ring. And even the riders from the back now have made it back into the group. So you can see from the graphic on the bottom of the screen, which has now just been obscured by the Kester Dobson graphic. There we go. You can see the paddle shows where the leading rider is, but you can see how strung out the riders are behind the white dots. But this is a big group and they're all together. So yeah, my guess is that they're going to arrive at that climb more or less as a big group, and then they'll duke it out there, and we'll see who manages to pull away. You've got to keep a close eye on it though, and you know, you can't afford to drop too far to the back. I mean, Nick Greenhalgh knows what he's doing. He's just taking it easy in the middle of the pack at the back, but he's more than strong enough to make a surge when he needs to. But you've got to be careful that you don't get yo-yoed off the back. As we look at Mike Swart, again, a rider I'm not overly familiar with. I think I've seen him before, but I certainly don't recognise his team with the green jersey. So I don't know who he's affiliated with, but he's putting in a good effort here. As Doug Hart makes another big push on the front, going into the red. So this is a determined effort to try and snap the elastic. And although I'd like to see Doug pull this off, I don't think this is going to stick. He's got 30 metres, but nah, the group behind him are going to pull this back. They're just going to let him, although Doug is such class that if they give him too much rope, they will not reel him back in, but I do think they'll pull him back. I think Doug's just stretching his legs here, which is a bit of a strange tactic, to be honest. I would have thought, you know, if you're going to push, you'd wait until after the climb and then push, but or maybe just before the climb and try and get up it. But who am I to tell a rider of Doug's class how to race? And to be fair, you know, it went out to 50 odd meters. It's now 40, but I just feel like this is not going anywhere. I think the group behind having a bit of recovery, as we see Blodgett putting in 9.1 watt kilos, John Beams 9 kilos. So they are trying now to, they've realised they've got to pull this back, and there you go, they've pulled it back. So you've got two riders bridge the gap. Well, one at the moment, Blodgett, has bridged the gap, but John Beams is not far behind. As we watch the riders, there you go, John Beams at the front as well. Now, if these three riders work together, I'll be honest, they could be gone. They could not be caught if they really push hard and work together through and off. But no, I don't know. I don't think this is enough. And the group, you can see the group behind are reeling them in, because you've got some really strong riders pulling it along, as John gives me a wave. Some really strong riders behind pulling it along. You know, you've got Back there, who was working hard. As Doug takes a bit of a recovery now, which he needs to do. He needs to get his breath back, get a bit of recovery, and then if he's up to it, go again a bit later. And there's a couple of riders in the group that we've not mentioned yet, like Shapers from Ratio Races. He's a very strong rider, and he's starting to show his nose in the top 10 now. Um, yeah, it'll be interesting. Their shape is third on the road, and he just takes over the front spot. But it's nice to see riders are, you know, they're taking the turns. We've got Dobson now leading them out. Michael Lister is in here as well. So this is a good field. And it's really nice to see the riders putting in big efforts. And Doug is off again. He's trying to break the elastic. He looks over his shoulder. How far have I got this time? And he can see the group behind. He's got 27 meters. So again, this is not going anywhere. And I say that not as a detriment, folks. That's just my take on the commentary. It makes for very exciting racing, though, when you've got a rider like Doug prepared to sort of like jump off the front. I mean, in some of the tours, we've seen this kind of tactic done by teams, where they'll send a man off the front. When he's caught by the group, they send another man, and then when he's caught, they send another man. And we saw this in the first Moonriders tour from Nopin's Race Priar. They had some excellent tactics in the race. Sadly, they couldn't convert it, but they really did ride a very, very canny race. As you can see, the graphic once again on screen showing where the riders are. So remember to tie this in with where the actual riders are, folks. It's quite a steep climb by the look of that graphic. So although it's only short, you know, 26 meters it's saying, so it's only a short climb, but it's going to, I think it's going to split the field. As we watch Divola on the front. Rider from Belgium, not overly familiar with this rider either, Fabian. What I do is I make notes, and then I look through my notebook to see whether the rider's in my notebook and which races he's taken part in, but he's not in my notebook. Hartveld certainly is. He's a class rider. Now I think this is Nick Bowen. That's just taking a push on the front. Oh no, it's Fig now at the moment, but I think Bowen's not far behind him. Frenchman up front. But you can see Doug is just itching to get off the front again. He takes a little bit of recovery and then he's there just shadowing the front. But we've got Back leading it out. Who else we got up front? Now, another rider that I more or less ignored in the first running of the Moon Riders Stage 1 was that Poco, because he was virtually invisible, but he didn't half finish strong. And you can see he's not putting his nose out the front just yet, but he's there. He's in this group as we watch Doug Hart. As I say, I know Doug very, very well. He's a good lad. He's a big rider, big strong rider. But Hartveld has got a very good pedigree. We know everything about him. He's already a race winner in the last week or so. him and John Beams are working together. Which is good tactics. Now they're on the climb now, so this is where, you know, if John and Hartveld are going to make a break, this is where they need to do it. This is where they need to really give a push. But I think we're going to see the climbers closing up on them as well. Hartveld is away. John will be trying to hold the pack behind, and then once and who's that? Vignow jumping off the front, the Frenchman, putting in 9.8 watt kilos. Joel Vignow. Okay. Looks strong. They're big figures. I don't know what happened there. It went down to 1.2 watt kilos. That's so it's only a short climb. They'll be doing this in the big ring. Really pushing it here. It's 10%. So I said it was quite steep. As we watch riders falling back off the back. As I say, Doug's a big rider, so he won't be enjoying this hill. I'm surprised to see Nick Greenhalgh back in the 10th place. And we watch Divola now take the lead. 5.9 watt, 6.1 watt kilos, 6.4. So Fabian's putting in a fabulous ride. High watt kilos that. And you can just see Swart coming up into third place, making a bit of a bid to chase. You see, and Larkin. So Hartveld has dropped back to 5th place now, which is a bit of a surprise. But we're seeing some big numbers here. Wow. Like I say, a good rider. John dropped back into 7th, but he can close some of this distance. Now, because it's only such a short climb, and the leader's got a big gap, 170 meters. So in terms of Joe Vignow, it's probably between him and who's in first place. As we watch Divola, yeah. So these two, it could, well, the win could be between these two if they manage to keep this distance going. Although it does look like Divola's trying to break the elastic of Joe following behind. And then we've got 100 meters, folks, and that's a big gap to try and make up. I suspect that's not going to get closed. I mean, a fast-moving group can close a gap fast, but I just think that this might be a little bit too much to ask. But we'll see. Don't never say never. I've seen bigger gaps closed down, but as we take our first look at Keith, my teammate from OTR, Keith Aitchinson. Now, what we could do with Greenhalgh, Keith, Lyndon Poco and Shapers, who are all very strong riders. We could do with these coming together with the riders just in front of them. And if they put in a determined effort, there you go, there's Keith Aitchison. Currently residing in Spain, Barcelona. beautiful city which I visited a few years ago, and he's not far off my my weight, isn't Keith? 64 kilos. But they really need to be putting in a bit of an effort if they want to close the gap. I don't see them doing it, to be honest. They're now 200 meters behind the group in front, and I think that's going to be too much to ask. So we're having a look further down the field. Big Duck Hart, he lost it on the, which is probably one of the reasons why he was pushing off the front, because he knew he would lose ground on the climb, and that's proved to be the case for some of the bigger riders as well. As we watch Ned Bowen. I mean, you saw earlier, we can probably go back to it if the action is not too furious at the front, but you saw John Beams in his pain cave, or in what we call the Zoom room, a bit earlier. And what I would ask folks is that more riders sign up. You know, get yourself a webcam and sign up to showing yourself off, as we watch Fleming Back and Jan Vanna from No Pins. But yeah, it would be nice if more riders showed themselves off and verified themselves, you know, with a webcam, because sometimes you know, I watch these terrifically high wattages being put out, and it's not a problem if it's just bursts of wattages, but when you see a rider putting out sustained effort for quite a few kilometers, it does raise niggles that, is this rider verified? And all the good riders are, you know. But there are a lot of riders which I've not heard of, which they come along and put out stunning wattage, and it may well be legit, but I just wish they'd take a bit of action to verify themselves. Now, has this come back together? Is this, it's showing one? I can't believe this has come back together. Wow. Well, there you go, folks. The chasing group actually caught up with Vignau and Devoe, and that rather surprised me. They had 100+ meters, and Beams and Co have pulled it back. What a fabulous effort. That is stunning. That's, I wish we'd been able to see that. Obviously we can't cover the action further back off the front and then cover the action at the front at the same time. As you watch John working off the front, and you can see him in his pain cave, and this is what I'm talking about, folks. You can see the effort he's putting in on his face, the grimaces. Let's have more riders doing this. It's something which I'm going to constantly push for on RGT, because there's too many riders that aren't verified. I mean, Greenhalgh is well verified. He's taken part in national, probably international events as well over on Swift, so he's well verified. We know everything about Nick, and to be honest, the fact that he's dropped off at this stage, he must be just finding his legs again. Maybe he's just returned to racing, because I'm really surprised to see him not up with the front runners. But we've got some big hitters up front, and it's strange that Devoe and Joe Vignau have now dropped back and dropped off, as we watch Hartveld pushing along on the front. I mean, John and Wout here, the two pedallers, will be working together. This will be have been the tactic. One of them goes off the front, the other sits in, gets a bit of recovery, and then when Wout is caught here, there you go, John will take over. So it's looking like the winner could well come from these 6 riders. We're only 1.5 kilometers from the finish now, folks. And so I think we're probably looking at the rider coming from these 6 riders out front. They've got a 51-meter gap on the rider in 7th place, which is Joe Vignau. So yeah, he's out of it. They're not. These guys are just working too well together now. He's not going to get back. So it's between these 6. You can see he's trying. He's in the distance there, but I don't think he's going to get back, because we're going to get riders jumping off the front of these 6 and pushing the pace up. So I'd be very surprised, like we saw John. And there you go, team tactics. John pushes off the front, and then Wout comes storming past. 9 watt kilos. John's doing 10. Larkin's doing 9. Swart is doing 9. You know, they're pushing out really big watts here to try and make this stick. And they've opened up the gap to Vignau to 110 meters. So he's gone. He's out of it. I'm surprised to see Divola has come back to this group, to be fair. He burnt his matches earlier on. I don't expect he's going to be in with a shout. Although he's proving very strong, he's hanging on as we watch Swart make a jump off the front. But Hartwelt, 11 watt kilos, 13 watt, even 13 watt kilos to jump back onto his wheel. And Hartwelt is very, very, very... And there he goes. He's gone straight past. Now, I imagine Swart will jump on his wheel. Yeah, there you go. Blodgett. So these 2 are working together. We've got 2 teammates here. Not sure which team it is, but they're working together. As you can see, Hartwelt. Oh, Blodgett is going to get it. Blodgett took it. He stole it from Hartwelt. Divola just got 3rd. I think it was John Beams in 4th. Yes, it was. Swart in 5th. And Larkin's coming in 6th. What a good ride. Blodgett came from nowhere, and we've hardly mentioned him in the commentary. And that's the sign, folks, of a really canny and good rider. If you're not getting mentioned, if you're not getting seen by the commentary team, it generally means that you're tucked in, you're staying out of the wind, you're doing as little as you can on the front, and then you take it at the end. That's very, very good racing. Well done, Blodgett. I mean, we've seen that kind of tactic before. In fact, we've seen Lyndon Poco do that, where he's stayed off the radar and then come strong at the end. But that surprised me. I wouldn't have picked Blodgett because I hardly even recognised him in the group. So fabulous tactics. Well done, David. David Blodgett. I don't know what team you are, but I will certainly be looking you up, and you will go in my notebook because you're not in it at the moment. So watching Yogi Boy and Daniel. Now, I'm surprised Daniel's down in 20th place. I expected him to stay, you know, with at least the first or second group. So this is a bit of a surprise. Let's watch Gardner coming in from Southern District Wheelers. Just pipped on the line by Jones. That was a good one. Tim Moss coming in, another Southern District Wheelers rider. Beautiful kit they've got. I do like this red, yellow and black. As we watch King coming in, and he's just being pipped by Brooke Lavel. I say he's just being pipped. It looks like King's going to try and get on his wheel. So these 2 could be fighting it out. There's Peter, my teammate. Now, is Peter going to be able to hold King off, or is King going to come round? I think, oh yeah, he's just lost out on the line. Good tactics. Mike Lister coming in. And I think this is Simon Miller, Southern District Wheelers, number 34 here. Now I believe he's the organiser of this this series. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's Simon Miller, and I believe he's the organiser. As we watch Paul Riley. I think it's Paul. Yeah, good race, and like I say, fast and furious. But what was a bit of a surprise to me, and I'm sure to you as viewers, was the way that we had those riders go off the front, and they got about 120 metres, and I didn't expect them to be caught on this undulating or flatter section. And yet the group pulled them back in no time at all. What a fabulous effort. And then it was just hell for leather to the line. Wow. You watch another SDW, Southern District Wheelers rider, Duffy B's coming in from Scotland. And obviously riders just pushing for their individual places, which is what it is when you further that on two Southern District Wheelers here, Page and Wybrow. And are they going to fight it out between them? So it looks like they are, both into the red, both fighting it out. I love to see that. Teammates fighting it out for the minor placings. That's good to see. But this has been a good turnout as well. I mean, we had 100 riders on the line. How many are we going to see finishing as we watch the tail end of the field coming in? Now, when this rider's finished, folks, we'll have a little bit of news for you. I'll give you more details about what's upcoming, specifically from the OTR team. We've got some tours coming up. So we'll give you a bit of news, but then we go into the third stage of the Moonriders tour, and I'm not going away. I'm staying online, and we'll be bringing you that. Oh, what time is it now? Yeah, in about 25 minutes. So give or take, yeah, a little bit less than 25 minutes. We'll be running the third stage of the Moonriders tour as we look at the results now, down to 30th place. And yet the riders that I expected to be up there at the start, not the order that I would have picked. I didn't actually call a winner in this one because it was too fast and furious, but had I done so, I would probably have gone with the two pedallers, Wout and John Beams. But Wout was certainly caught napping by Blodgett, who put in a superb sprint at the end. And watch Goldberg coming over the line, and Beattie. And then my old teammate Evan Oystensen from 3R. Nice bloke and a nice rider. And then we're going to have the Danishman Cock coming in. And again going into the red, so putting in an effort to finish with. Now I'm going to try and help out Damon, and also I'm going to try and cover a few of these events if I can. But Friday nights is pretty difficult for me. It's not so bad for the late and the Moonriders tour, which kicks off at 7:30, because by that time the girls are in bed. But earlier can be a little bit difficult for me because it's my partner's night out generally, and so or night off, So I can't do the earlier stints every week, but I'll see what we can manage and see whether we can restart racing is the team. Okay. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much of this tour I can as we're watching Tate coming towards the line, the Southern District Wheelers, and we've got I can't even begin to pronounce that name, so unless you show his first name I'm not even going to attempt it. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Pinetto though. No. So these are the Southern District Wheelers lower down the field coming in. They've had a really good turnout tonight as we watch Brandish just take one of them on the line. We've seen IK before. Again, a rider that I don't know his real name. The Dutchman Smits coming in. And here we go, folks. So up on screen at the moment you can see, as we watch Derry coming on over the line, but the OTR Tour calendar. And our next tour is going to be the Tour of Latin America. And that kicks off the 1st of December. And it's a 4-day tour. So, well, 5-day tour, first, second, or is it? I thought it was four stages, so maybe not every single day, but anyway, it's 4 or 5-day tour of Latin America, and that kicks off on the 1st of December. But then we've got the real biggie, and I think I'm right in saying it's OTR's premier event of the year, the Tour du Monde. Now, we ran it last year and I covered a good deal of it on my channel, so if you go to my YouTube channel you can see the races before I joined OTR, and what a superb tour it was. Some fantastic racing, some great team tactics, and I'm really looking forward to covering that one again now that I've joined the OTR team, because I think I can add to the spectacle that will be the Tour du Monde. I'm sure ZMS are going to be covering the majority of it as well, so yeah, it should be a lot of fun. And then in February we've got the Tour of Oceania. That's another 4-day tour, so another shorter one. And then later on in February we've got the Tour of North America, and that's a slightly longer tour. That's a 2-week tour, and again similar to the Tour du Monde, but this time North America. Really looking forward to that. It'll be the first time I've had anything to do with that tour. Then we've got another 4 or 5-day tour of Asia, but that's later on in the year, folks, and I'm sure there'll be other events in between. That's not until next October. And then of course the Tour des Alpes, which was a huge success this year, and in fact I think possibly the hardest tour so far on RGT, the Tour des Alpes. It was phenomenal. It was originally called the Tour de Suisse, but we had to change the name to the Tour du Alpes, and what a tour it was as well. As we watch Dennis from Southern District Wheelers coming in, although it looks like Elgie's getting the better of him on the line. Yep. Isn't it nice to see fights happening right at the very tail end of the ride? So yeah, lots to look forward to with the OTR tour, but this doesn't tell the full story, because there's going to be other events in between these tours, and I even have a mind to run In fact, no, I'm going to leave that for the... We've got a news programme. We've got an OTR news programme going out on Monday. Probably just after lunchtime on Monday, when I'll do a roundup of all the weekend's racing and give you all the OTR news. But I'll also make a bit of an announcement as well about an event which I will probably put on. And looking at the dates on the calendar, I'll probably wait until March or April, fit it on the calendar then. So I'll announce that on Monday. Need to speak with my boss James first. So we're watching the tail end of the riders coming in now. Elliot's coming in, and then we've got Houselup, Simone, the Frenchman. And this is one of the things which ZMS and myself really like to do. We like to stay with the riders and try and catch all the riders coming in. I mean, we've got 17 minutes before we start our next broadcast. So hopefully we can have all the riders across the line and enough time for me to take a nature break, grab myself a drink, and then come back for the start of the Moonriders tour. And I'm really looking forward to that tonight, folks, because that's going to be exciting. John Beams has got a lead at the top of the standings, but 3R, who were pipped to the post in the first race and pushed back a little bit in the second, they could well come out and try and throw their team tactics again at it tonight. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an exciting race. But this has been a good one. There's been some really good racing tonight in this, as we're watching the riders come home here. How many more have we got to go? We've got 2 more riders to come. We've got, although no, Streck isn't pedalling at the moment. So Houselop is the last rider to come in, and he's only got 900 meters. So here we go. I didn't see a 1 kilometer to go banner. Did I miss it? Because I didn't see it when they were racing either. And that's a bit of a shame. Maybe we should have had a 1 kilometer to go, because it would have given me a heads up as well. Because I'll be honest, David's Blodgett's jump off the front caught me a little bit by surprise. We did cover it, but it did catch me a bit by surprise, and I think the 1 kilometer to go banner would have helped me in that respect. So if you're listening, the organisers, see if they can't put one in your future events. A Flamme Rouge, or 1 kilometer to go. Unless I've missed it, I might, which, you know, I could well have done, but I don't think I did. For me, one of the best takeaways from tonight, as well as the excellent racing we've seen, is when you get a club putting on a race series, it's always really good if that club's members can turn up and actually take part in the race themselves, you know, all the way down the field. And we saw that. I don't know exactly how many. In fact, next time out, I'll actually make a note of that. But I don't know how many of the SDW riders were taking part tonight, but there was a lot, an awful lot of their riders, and that's really good to see. Certainly in real life, that's something that with the different clubs I was a member of, we always push for. You know, Huddersfield Star Wheelers was one club. Which incidentally, their team kit looks very similar to the Southern District Wheelers kit, red, yellow and black. with a huge star. As we watch, Houselopper's just finished, so he's the last rider. So what we're going to do now is just show you the results and the finishing positions, and then we'll get on to. I'm going to have to go for a bit of a break, so I'll wait and see. We'll probably slot in a few adverts between the two races before we start the Moon Riders tour. So I'm going to wait until the adverts come up, and then I'll nip. Well, no, I'm not going to wait for the adverts because that will be too late. Yeah, starting in 12 minutes. So I'm going to nip away now and take my nature break, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Good evening everybody, and welcome to the Moonriders Tour, brought to you by ZMS. Tonight we're in Winterberg with a distance of 24 kilometers. There's a little bit of climbing, about 703 meters, so that should be enough to keep the climbers happy. But this is going to be one for the punchy riders, for the rollers. Here's the map showing you the elevation look. Now you can see there's a rather big downhill, which is going to allow for recovery before the riders take on this final climb. And it is an uphill finish tonight, albeit only a short one after the hairpin, but I think it might catch a few people out. Few riders out. As we look at the series standing, now this oh, okay, I have to say I'm confused here. Where's John Beams? Okay. Oh, is John... Oh, sorry, no, I apologise. John's not in this series, is he? No. This is the battle between Wouter and Matt, Gav, Stephen... Well, Stephen Greeley's Matt's teammate. So, yeah, it's, as you can see, pretty tight at the top, with Wouter taking a first place and I think third place to hold on to his lead at the top of the leaderboard. But some really good performances in the first two races, folks. The key for me in round one was the way that No Pins Race 3R performed in terms of team tactics, and are they going to pull off a similar kind of tactic this evening? We'll have to wait and see, but I'm looking forward to this one. They have to try and pull back some of this gap. So here we go. It's going to be a rather fastish start. I think the riders are going to try and split it up from the line, and there you go. As I say that, riders all over the road, and it's going to go off fast and furious. You can see already Wouter Klaas is up there at the front. I can see his name. Stevens is up there. Isifor, Bellio from OTR, see his name there. Stenley, he's a regular up the front. Gavash, I just noticed, is up there. So your main contenders should be up at the front. The only rider I don't see at the moment is Matt Lucker, and he needs to get up there, because if he loses too much tonight, then he's going to really struggle to pull back the lead that Wout and his teammates have got. But let's see what happens. Let's wait until it settles down. This is we've got 24 riders here, so he could well be hidden amongst this group somewhere. But I didn't see him as we were looking through the rider list. We've got Dummer in there. Now we may have a couple of webcams, and you may be able to see the riders in their paid caves, but I haven't had notification of who's in the Zoom room yet. So I'm just trying to look down the rider list and see who we've got in there. I can see we've got 2 No Pins Race 3R riders at least. Yeah, I can see 2. I can see 2 OTR riders in this group. We've got Moon Riders. I can see 2 Moon Riders. So it looks like a good spread. But I'm only seeing, here we go, that makes 3 OTR riders as we watch Mike Adey. Now he's a very strong rider, so I expect him to be staying near the front where the action is. I've just been told by Liam from No Pins that Matt Lucker and Steve Brearley are not racing tonight, and that's a shame, folks. But it is the best 7 of 10 to count, so they don't have to race every race, but it is a shame, and I particularly enjoy watching Steve Brearley racing because he's such a workhorse for the team. So it's a bit of a shame that they're not here tonight. Now the rider up front, Casper, we know all about him. He's class act, and he's always one that's up and near the front. So I think what we're going to see tonight is we're going to see the No Pins guys, the Race 3R team. They're the ones in the do you call it lilac, red and black and white outfits, the 3R outfits. They look really really nice team kit. They're going to try and pull back a few points tonight, I'm pretty sure. But with just the 2 riders, it could be a big ask. I don't know this Harvest. Is it Thomas Harvest from No Pins? He's from Poland, so we might get some details about him later on, and if not, I'll bring them to you in future editions if he rides more. As we look at Daniel Neubauer. Now Daniel is a regular OTR racer. We've seen him quite a few times. Good solid rider. And now we're having a look at Hedidam is leading them out, but I think these are settled down. I said it would be fast and furious, and I think this opening group have got the gap they wanted, because we had 40 riders online, but I think there's about 24 in this front group. So they've thinned it down a little bit. As we look at another one, Roy Rocket Neal from Manchester. He's a Masters category, 52 years of age. A tall bloke, but at 66 kilograms he must be like a stick insect. Yeah, it doesn't weigh much. And here we have Gavash, who's, I think he finished second last week, just lost out, so I'm surprised to see him making this early push on the front, to be honest. But maybe he's saying no, the pace is not high enough, folks, let's get a move on. Don't know, it's hard to work out the tactics, because you've got Gav pushing off the front here, but the 2 no pins riders are just sort of like sat behind him in tandem, and were it to stay like this, you wouldn't fancy Gavash, that's for sure. But we'll see. They've got these 3 have got a 15-meter gap, so that's not enough to drop the likes of Hedidam and Wouter and Dummer from OTR. But and we've got Contant not far off in 7th place. He's only a few meters behind the group chasing, so this could well all come back together, folks. It's going to be interesting on this first kicker climb. I think it goes up to about, looking at the red, it probably goes up to about 10%. So this could be a bit of a sort out for some of the riders. But then you've got that steep downhill, albeit only short into the valley, and then you transition into the next series of climbs. So yeah, right, and there we go. Contant has pulled that distance back. He's a class rider, so I did expect him to get back towards the front. And in fact, we're seeing all the main contenders here near enough at the front of the race. There's a few notable exceptions, but yeah, I don't see. I think the likes of Wouter, who's a few meters behind, will actually pull back some of this gap. Lyndon Poco, we've just watched him taking part in the Southern District Wheeler, so he's doubling up. Now we've got the no pins rider Hana, who, as I say, I don't know anything about him, but he's pushed off the front. Zach, thank you, Matt. Thank you. I didn't know his first name. So Zach Horner is pushing off the front and looking very strong. But Gav is staying with him, and who else we got up here? Casper Hedidam, and Stanley. So yeah, this is good, a good foursome out front, but Han is looking very strong as he puts in like a 7.8 watt kilo effort to just get 20 meters. So looking extremely strong, but there's a long way to go yet. Is he going too early? I don't know. He's looking strong, but we won't really know until we get into this this second series of climbs. And if somebody's got a good gap going into that big, long, steep downhill, they can pull out, you know, 100 meters can turn into 3, 4, or even 500 meters. You know, if they've got a decent gap cresting the top of that climb. So we'll see. He's got a showing 50 meters at the moment for Hana, but expect these riders, I mean, Stanley will just be marking time. He won't be chasing down his teammate, that is for sure. The work to be done is by Gav, Casper and Contant. They're the ones that need to chase. And Walter won't panic just yet, I don't think. I think he'll know what he's capable of. He'll just be pacing himself. The time to really explode is, like I say, is possibly on this next series of climbs. That's the time to attack and pull back any distance that you happen to have lost. At least that's the way I see it. I mean, it's not necessarily going to work out that way. As we look at Ryan once again in his pain cave, I love to see Ryan on webcam, because you can see he's a rider that's, look at him blowing, absolutely blowing, absolutely giving it everything. I mean, you know, 400 watts he's putting out here, folks, but he's giving it absolutely everything. Into the red, there you go, into the red, look, blowing like a train. Class rider. Hope he's not getting a stitch. But you can see that Wouter and Roy Neode have just upped the pace slightly. They are trying to pull back some of this distance, and they need to, because they're what, 600, 500 meters behind Hana up front, and that's getting to the level where, like I say, if he gets to the top of this next series of climbs with a decent enough gap, he's gone. They're not going to pull it back, because that will just go out exponentially when he gets onto that blue section that you can see. And if he's got the strength to sort of like bring it home on the next series of climbs, which I imagine he will have, looking at the way he's riding this. So it does look like we have a potential rider here going off the front. But having said that, look at the riders behind, Gavash and Casper, that are really putting in a big effort here to hold it at 75 meters, and they've held that for a little while now, so that tells me, you know, they could well end up coming back to him. It's nice to stay with the action, but you can just see them just underneath the trees coming around the bend. So they've got him in sight, just, but he is pulling it out. He's just gained another 6 meters there. So these two really need to work together, and there's a third rider behind them. I can't see who that is at the moment. Is it? You've got Gav, you've got Stanley, and you've got Hedidam, yeah. I'm a little bit surprised to see Wouter Klaas falling behind a little. He's not too far. He's not too far off the pace, but yeah, it's a little bit of a surprise. He's leading the standings, but Now, as I say, the interesting dynamic for me is we've no Matt Looker and Steve Brearley taking part tonight. If No Pins Race for Yar can take the win, then obviously they're going to take away points from Wout at the top of the leaderboard. But because it's only 7 to count out of the 10, it's going to be an interesting dynamic. Because Matt isn't going to move up, certainly, but if he's back in future editions and riding strongly, then yeah, it should be a good battle, especially if Wouter does lose a few points tonight. Hmm. 10 seconds it's saying. And yeah, it looks about that on the road, doesn't it, folks? As you can see, I like this view. I like the view from behind when you're chasing. Gavash is such a strong rider. He's such a class act. As we watch the second, so they've got 2 in the top 3. I'm never quite sure how to pronounce his name, so I pronounce it Stanley. Mark Stanley. But Mark's had some good results in the previous 2 run-ins of this Moonriders tour, so he's doing well on the overall general classification. As is Casper. Casper's always there or thereabouts, as we see him putting in 360 watts, so he's working hard. Nice tidy cadence, nice high cadence. The Frenchman Contant, he's a class act as well, from Peddlers. I wonder why we didn't get John Beams riding this series. I would have thought this would have suited him, but maybe he's just he's riding, like I've just watched him riding in the Southern District Wheelers Friday Frenzy, so maybe he's just doing too much. I don't know, but yeah, I would have thought this kind of series would have suited John. It would be nice if we could get time gaps lower down the field as we watch Roy Neal closing up on Wouter. Now they need to work together. If Roy catches Wouter, and this is John Stevens from Moonriders, a rider we've covered quite a lot in the past. John's a really strong rider as well. He did very, very well in the Tour de Alps, finished in the bronze medal position, 3rd place, I believe, with some really good riding. So yeah, John's a class act as well. But they could do it coming together and working together, which it's a tough act when every rider's riding for himself as well. But as we can see, there's a rider coming up behind him, so we've got Hermer in shot, but there's an OTR rider. I just spotted the graphic. There we go, Ryan. So Ryan's catching up with Hermer. Now can Ryan pull himself further up the field? Currently in 10th spot, only a youngster at 29 years of age, and a fairly tall fella. But you saw him in his pain cave. He really gives it everything. And I love to see that. I've already mentioned it in SDWs, but it bears repeating, folks. Look at Ryan now in his pain cave. We need more riders to start verifying themselves, to start doing this. Get yourself a webcam, get yourself in the Zoom room so that we can see you in action and verify your performances. Look, it's blowing, blowing. Mind you, 400 and odd watts he's putting out, so yeah, you can see why he's hurting. And obviously he's on the climb. We can't see what percentage it is at the moment, but yeah. Now then, this is a rider I've seen before, but I'm not quite sure what team he's riding for. Eduardo. And then we've got Spillane. Padre, I think you pronounce that. Padre Spillane. That's an Irish name, isn't it? I believe. I think so. He's putting out 5 watt kilos. And then Lyndon Poco. Now, Lyndon has just ridden the Southern District Wheelers Friday Frenzy event as well. So he's probably got tired legs, but he's still putting in a good effort here. You know, 300 watts and 5 watt kilos. Yeah. I just admire these riders that can double up on events and still put in good performances. And this is Neil from my team OTR, Neil Walker. Looks nice and steady. Putting in 4 watt kilos. And this is the steeper part of the climb. I said it went to around 10%, and I wasn't far off the mark there. I think we just saw 10.3, yeah. So yeah, 10% climb. Now I don't know what this second part is like, but it does look like there's some steeper sections in the second part as well, possibly even a little bit over 10, as we watch Lee Haywood. Now Lee's the Orbea Bikes ambassador. He wears the GBR kit, but he's the ambassador for Orbea in the UK. Out of Devon in the UK, and very lightweight rider at 58.5 kilos. So weighs almost nothing, but he's only a small guy at 168. Chased by Holmes, who's now just getting on his wheel, but putting in a threshold effort to get there. And then we've got Isifor from Moonriders. I never quite know what to make. I think it's Ivor, yes, Ivor Isifor. And like I say, I never really know what to make of him, because I've seen him putting in some amazingly strong performances, and then he's way off the pace in other races. So perhaps he just chooses particular races where they suit him, and that's where he's able to put in his best performances. A good rider, but like I say, I can't quite work him out. Now we're watching Casper and Gav working together. They're trying to bring back Hana, Zach Harner, who's leading the race at the moment. Now I don't know what the gap is. We'll get a time gap very shortly, folks, and we'll be able to tell you what the gap is. But Harner's got 11.5 kilometers to go as we go back further down the field. Here we go. That's the halfway banner. So that was the halfway banner you saw. They're on the downhill now, so they are putting in like 60 to 70 kilometer an hour efforts here, and these two should be able to pull back some of that. In fact, you can see them in the distance. They should be able to pull back some of that distance if they're working together and really pushing on. And I know for a fact that these two, they've worked together in the past, even though they're not teammates. So they will be working together. They will be doing their level best to try and pull back some of this gap. But I have to say, Zach is just looking very, very strong. He's not losing ground to them at all. or not much. The strongest performance I've seen from Gavash was when he rode with John Beams in the Tour du Alps, and he helped John get a first place and take, I think on that particular stage, I think it was stage 4, was it the Queen stage, they took 8 minutes out of the previous leader, which was Daniel, I forget his name, the Chilean rider. Anyway, the leader of the Tour du Alps up until, and he'd won 3 of the 4 stages. Forget his last name, but Daniel. And John not only overturned the 5-minute deficit, he gained another 3 minutes. So he took 8 minutes out of the leader in the Tour du Alps, thanks to Gav. Him and Gav working on the downhills on the Queen stage, and it was an absolutely stunning ride, a superb race, a superb ride by Gavash and John Beams. And if you want to check it out, it's on my YouTube channel, so nip over there and have a look, because even if you only watch the final coming into the finish, it was a race well worth watching. But this is getting a bit exciting, folks, because as I'm whittling away here, you can see that they're closing the gap. They've got it down to 300 meters now. They're working really, really strongly together. And you know, this could come back. This could come back. They're pulling it back meter by meter, very slowly, but they are pulling it back. I mean, and Casper's a class act. I've watched Casper quite a few times. So you can see they're going through and off and taking turns to Casper's going into threshold, as you can see, and then what he'll do is he'll do his threshold effort to pull back some of this gap, and then Gav, if Gav can hold his wheel, will then come past and do his turn, and Casper will get some recovery. And that's the way to do it. Basically, you're doing like a 2-up time trial, taking turns. Casper must be listening to me because he's just given me a wave, and they probably are. They're probably listening into the broadcast or even watching the broadcast. So I hope so anyway. And if not, they can catch it later, both on the ZMS Facebook page and on my YouTube channel. So we'll have the full races, both the SDW, Friday Frenzy and this race will be on both. They'll be on the ZMS Facebook link and my YouTube channel. So they've got it down to 200 meters now, just over 200 meters, and still putting in, as we see Zach try and raise it. He's just pulled out a little bit more there, as you saw him going into threshold. So I don't know what's happening to his wattage though. It's showing him 0.1 watt kilos there. Is he freewheeling down the hill? Yep, they've pulled back. Yeah, so they're on the downhill as well, and that's where they're making up the time on Zach. They're making up the time on the downhill, which is exactly what Gav did with John Beams. He pulled John Beams along on the downhill in the Tour du Alps, as I said, stage 4, the Queen stage, and they pulled out a huge gap over the chasers. So, but they're going to run out of they're running out of flat and downhill. It's going to come to the climb, and who's got the strength on the climb? Like I say, I don't know anything about Zach or Hana, so but it did look like he was very strong on the climb. We'll have to wait and see. Now this is the third group on the road. This There's a couple of riders in between, but this is the third group on the road. And they're not going to, no, sadly these guys are not going to get back into the action. They could well be fighting for a couple of places in the top 10 between them. As you see, Spillane trying to push off the front and push the pace up. But these four really need to stay together. You can see Ryan absolutely blowing, but determined to get on the wheel. And if he gets on the wheel, there you go, putting in an effort to get on the wheel. And once he's on the wheel, he can take advantage of the draft. There he goes. And look how many watts he's saving. That's canny riding, Ryan. Well done. Good riding, but he's gone past now. But these four riders really need to work together and push the pace, and then fight it out towards the end of the stage. And here we go, folks, 50 meters now. They've got him, you know. Now, the question is, how many matches has Zach Harner burned with this effort? Yeah, Matt's saying Zach will launch away on the climb, and to be honest, I suspect that's what he's going to do, because he did look very, very strong on the previous climb when he actually got his gap. And if he does the same on this climb and can hold it, then yeah, he's got enough of a gap here. But they've got him down to 30 meters now. The only thing that worries me is that you've got Gav and Casper have split, albeit not by much, but they've split. And ideally they could do with being together and working together. But I'm sure Gav knows what he's doing. He's probably just pacing himself, and he's going to settle into the climb. We've already seen he tends to do this. He tends to settle himself in. So he'll be working to a plan here. Now, can Zach drop Hedidem now that he's caught him? And this is the right tactic to use, folks. What you do is you wait for the rider, well, you don't wait, but when the rider gets to your back wheel, you put in a surge and just see whether he's used up all his energy trying to get back onto your wheel, or whether he's got anything left. It does look like Casper's answering. He's going into threshold. So it looks like he's answering and saying, nope, I'm going to try and stay with you. He's got 19 meters. Big effort here from Casper. He's got a nice climbing cadence, nice high climbing cadence. He's not a grinder. Whereas I think you could say Gav is a grinder. He's like pushing a 659, 60 sort of range. A little bit more now that it's easing off a bit, but yeah, I'd call Gav a grinder. What about this fella? Mid. He's in the 70s, so. But he does look strong, and they've obviously No Pins Race 3R have obviously pulled him into this event as a bit of a ringer, I think. As we take a look at Christoph, who I've mentioned in the past. Christoph is regularly commenting on my YouTube channel, which I thank you very much, Christoph. But he seems like a genuinely nice fella and certainly a good rider. As we watch him putting in 5 watt kilos. William Bono said that Zach is like a thoroughbred racehorse compared to these Shetland ponies. No, William, I don't think you can call the likes of Hedidem and Casper, sorry, Casper Hedingham and Gavash Shetland ponies. And even Wout. I mean, Wout, you know, he's leading the standings at the moment, so he's no Shetland pony. And to be fair, look at Wout now. He's in 6th place, so, you know, and it isn't over yet. He could well climb a bit higher. And you've seen, you know, there you go. You were saying your man's like a thoroughbred, but Casper's taking him at the moment. Stuart, why aren't you racing tonight, Stuart? Hey, where's your race shirt? Yeah, these two are going to duke it out, aren't they? Because Casper's showing that he's strong. But the question is Zach taking it easy and recovering, or has he genuinely, as we watch Casper going into the red again? Well, they both are. They're both battling it out in. So I think Gav at 60 odd meters behind, a little bit more actually, it looks like 90. So as we look at Casper again, almost 400 watts there he was putting in, settling in a bit now as the slope's easing, but he just looks very, very smooth. Now the question is, can Zach Harner pull away on the steeper section which is coming up? This is going to be telling. I think it's this next section which is going to tell us who the likely winner is going to be between these two. And it is between these two now. I think we'll discount Gav. 90 meters, I can't see him pulling that back with. There's under 4 kilometers to go, 3.7 kilometers to go, and I can't see Gav pulling that back. You forgive me for saying so, Gav, but I don't know. Unless you've saved it, mate. Unless you've been pacing yourself and you've saved it, but it's a tough ask. Yeah, the gap's actually going out, so I don't expect Gav to come back to these two, because these two are going to push the pace up as they try to break each other. But that's interesting, interesting race, and Gav will cement his place, you know, towards the top of the leaderboard. And he's got them in sight as well, so it's not over for him by any means. There's still, well, 3.4 kilometers to go, so there's every chance he could get back. But and I wonder whether Casper has got that in mind, whether he's got in mind that Gav could come back, or no, he's not going to. No, they're pulling it out to over 100 meters now. So sadly, Gav isn't going to get back to them. I think he's settled for his third place, and he's in no danger of losing his third place, because as you can see, the riders behind, the next group behind, there's some 300 meters plus further back, so they're not going to catch Gav. But these two are just, yeah, they're just throwing punches at each other, aren't they? 1 minute it's Zach, the next minute it's Casper. Fascinating battle, and this is why I really enjoy covering these races, folks, because I knew it was going to be an exciting ride tonight. I do think, had we seen more of the no-pins team taking part, we would have seen team tactics. We would have seen the sort of like off the front, stretch the elastic, see if they can break it kind of technique that we saw in the first race. But when you've got a rider like Zach Harner, then I suppose well, Stuart Murray, I'll just read his message. I'll hopefully be back next week. Rolled my ankle on a run on Wednesday. Cheering on from the OTR team bus for now. Okay, well, I don't know where our OTR boys are, Stuart, at the moment. I don't know who our top rider is on the standings at the moment. Probably Ryan, actually. Ryan Dummer, yeah. I'm hoping Ryan can get in the top 10. He's there in 11th place, but he's a chance of making the top 10. So hopefully we'll do so. As we, I do like this dual picture mode, folks, where we can watch the two guys up front battling it out, and we can also watch further down the field. Gav's pulled back a few more meters as we watch these two just throwing punches at each other, and one minute it's one of them off the front, the next minute it's the other. Nothing in it, absolutely nothing in it, and I'll be honest, I couldn't pick a winner between the two of them. I think it's going to come down to like a sprint on the last hill. There's Ryan. So hopefully Ryan is in 11th at the moment, but he's got two riders in front of him. Hopefully he can overhaul one of them or even both of them and make it into the... There he goes, look. He's probably listening to me. So hopefully he can overhaul one of the riders in front and hold on to his 10th place. Maybe even both. Like I said, he's a rider that gives it everything, and you can see that from his pain cave camera. He doesn't hold back. So 1.8 kilometers for the leaders, just about 2 kilometers for Gav. And I think these riders are just sort of like sitting in, and they're gonna fight it out a bit further up the climb. But all the action really is here at the front, and like I say, Gavash doesn't have to worry about his place. He's not going to lose his third place. He's not going to catch these riders up the front. So it's just a case of who's going to finish first and who's going to finish second. It's definitely between these two. So watch them going around the hairpin. Who's your money on, folks? 1.2 kilometers to go now. I think we should have a Flamme Rouge in this race. I didn't see one in the Friday Frenzy SDW race, but we've had one. There it is. There's the Flamme Rouge. So what's going to be the tactic here? Because it is really an uphill finish. All right, it flattens off for the last meter probably, but I'm saying meter for the last couple of meters, but it is basically an uphill sprint. All right, it's not a steep sprint, although I think it does kick up a little bit more towards the top. You can see they're just playing cat and mouse with each other. Casper going into the red. Who's your money on, folks? Look at Hannah sat on the wheel. But I'm going to go for Casper. I think Casper will get this. So we'll see what happens. And this is why I think Casper will get it, because I don't think he'll come back. Oh, I'm wrong, no? Maybe it's there's still 500 meters. I do think Casper will get on the wheel and then jump past. I think that will be his tactic. I mean, I would stay just where he is now and just, although he's got to be careful he doesn't let a gap open. Yeah, I think he knows what he's doing. Oh no, no, he's gone. No, he's lost it. So it looks like, yeah, he's got it now. He's not going to pull back that. Just too strong at the end. Well, I can't pick the winner every week. I get a good number right, folks. But yeah, Zach Harner has just pulled away. 9 watt kilos we're seeing from him there. He pulls out a gap. It's not going to come back fast enough for Casper. And well done, Harner. Well done. That's a good ride to finish. As we watch Hedidum, he's just easing up now slightly, which he can afford to do. Just he's easing in. He's not going above threshold here. He's just easing in to the finish. His legs are probably hurting. There we go. So Casper takes second. Gavi's going to come in third. But there's a couple of interesting battles a bit lower down the field. So no pins race for Yara are going to take first and fourth, because Stanley is certainly not going to get caught for his fourth place. And he's putting in a strong finish. So there's Gav. Well done, sir. And this is Stanley now. He'll finish in fourth. Have we got a battle for fifth? No, I think fifth place is going to go to Wouter. He's not going to get caught either. Yeah, well done, Matt. He looks strong. Yeah, okay, Liam. I was only saying Casper because I've watched him quite a lot and he has got a bit of a kick on him. But to be fair to your bloke, yeah, he kicked his ass. I mean, that was a very impressive kick he did at the end there. So I'll take my hat off. Well done. It'll be interesting to see where this leaves the standings now, with Wouter coming in for fifth place. We'll have to wait and see. There we go. Yeah, he's got a 90-meter gap over Christoph Contant. So, and Christoph is in no danger of losing his sixth place. So here we go. So he's wearing the yellow. The reason why he's not wearing the Moonriders jerseys is wearing the yellow jersey as tour leader after 3 stages. Now I don't know whether he's still leading the tour with his 4th place today. I suspect he will be, because the fact that Matt was in 2nd place. I suspect he'll have held on as we watch Christoph coming in now. And then we've got Roy Neild and not far behind John Stevens. So can those two have a bit of a battle, or has Roy got a good... yeah, Roy's got 24 metres coming. Oh no, John's not going to catch him. No, and it's a threshold effort as well, so he's making sure he stays away from John Stevens. So yeah, to be fair though, he's pegging him. This is going to be he's going to have to sprint for the finish, I think, because good old Johnny's giving him a battle here. Well done, John. Nice riding. I like to see that when riders lower down the field just give it everything. And yeah, 6.7 watt kilos going over the line. Well done, Roy. And well done, John. Okay, so who's next to come in? Eduardo, that's right. Oh, but look at this. Ryan, come on, Ryan, come on. OTR, Ryan Dummer, come on, Ryan. Kick. Look at him going into the red. He's going into the... Is he going to get him? Is he going to get him? Come on. Come on. Oh. No, come on. Come on, Ryan. Yeah, big effort, big effort. Come on. Oh, I'm cheering here. Come on, Ryan, stay with him. Stay with him. I'm getting excited here, folks. I just want... Because obviously he's my team. OTR are my team, so yeah. Come on, I want him to get a top 10. Come on, Ryan. Yes. Come on. You can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Yes, come on, come on. Yes, top 10. Come on, lad. Keep it going. Oh! No, he's being caught. Come on, Ryan. One last effort. Yes, big sprint. Come on, Ryan. Big sprint. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Yes! Oh, fantastic. 8th place, I think. 9th? No, 9th place. Well done. He got 2 places right at the end. What a fabulous ride. That's the ride of the night for me, Ryan. Look at him. Just look at him. Yes, well done, Ryan. I'm giving you the thumbs up, mate. Fantastic. Now that is why, folks, I ask more people to use a webcam, please. Because not only are you going to verify your performances, but you're going to give some excitement to the commentators. You know, we can see the effort you're putting in. That was brilliant. I mean, did you see him at the end there? He could hardly breathe. What a fantastic effort. And here's another OTR rider now. Can he take a place? Yep, he's going for it. There we go. Oh, but has he got it? Oh, he's Neugebauer. Just going to prove 2. He's just going to prove... Oh, is he? No. Well done. That's 2 on the line we've got tonight. Well done. Oh, fabulous racing. I'm sorry if I'm getting a bit excited, folks, but you know, I enjoy the battles lower down the field just as much as I enjoy watching the winners coming in, because it's every bit as exciting, sometimes more exciting actually, because you get such close battles like we did with Ryan there. I mean, Ryan pulled back 2 places in the last sort of like 30 meters. What a fantastic effort. And look at Issy for you. 5.4. There's no need to do this because there's nobody chasing him, but he's putting in a threshold effort just to finish. Well done, Ivor. Good ride, mate. Another Dutch rider, Heiler. He's putting in a 5 watt-kilo effort, look. And he looks smooth. He looks smooth as silk here. We can't see him being caught by the rider behind him. Yeah, I agree with you, Stuart. That was a fantastic sprint. Well done. Some really good racing tonight. It's been a good couple of hours. I mean, we covered the Friday Frenzy earlier. And then this race, and we're going to watch every rider coming in. But there's a lot of riders I haven't seen before, so we're getting riders coming in some of the events, which, like I say, because you only have to ride 7 out of the 10 to count, your best 7 are the counters, then yeah, I suppose we can see riders coming in at different stages. And but also team tactics can play a part there, because you can get some of your stronger riders taking part, and if they're not going for the overall classification, they can do, you know, they can take a win like happened with Zach tonight. I don't know whether Zach intends riding the rest of the tour or whether he'll just dip in and out and try and take points off, you know, the leaders, which is a valid tactic. You know, come in, steal the points, and stop the people at the top of the leaderboard walking away with it. It's a tactic I've seen used quite a lot in previous tours. So I watch Lamont coming in. Oliveira, he's a regular from Portugal. Terence, that's his name. Yes, we watched Terence last week. So we didn't see Steve Bellio last week though, so I think this might be Steve's first go at this tour. I could be wrong. Steve Bellio from OTR. I think this is maybe his first, or could be his second, but I think it's his first. As we and Terence is giving it big licks as well coming into the finish. So they must listen to me, you know, because how many of the riders put in threshold efforts coming into the finish? Really nice to see. Wearing the RGT jersey. And here's Stephen. And there's another, that's Mike Aid from OTR as well. I don't know why Steve isn't wearing the OTR jersey. Why he's got Stephen, what jersey is he wearing there? Is it some? Oh, it's USA Crit jersey. That's why. Okay, we'll forgive you then, Stephen. We'll let you off. So, if Stephen's riding the crits, that tells me that he's probably, you won't mind me saying so, one of the bigger riders, which is probably why he struggled tonight, because this kind of terrain won't suit a crit rider, that's for sure. Right, well done. So, how many more riders have we got to come in? Mike Aid coming in. I've seen Mike's name popping up on quite a few races, so I don't know whether this is a top of the table performance by Mike, or whether he's just finding his legs. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen him on the leaderboards in some of the races that OTR run. So thanks, Matt. Yes, it was a great race, mate. I agree with you. Get some more of your lads coming across. Let's have a really good competition. What about Liam? Why isn't... Yeah, that's a point, Liam. You must be listening. Why aren't you racing? Why don't you come across? Be nice to see you. I'm talking about Liam Bard, folks. He's the head guru across at No Pins Race for R. Well, I'm saying head guru. I think he's one of the stronger riders anyway. Well done, Mike. And who's this OTR rider? Is it Jeff? Gabe. Gabe, sorry. I apologise, Gabe. Yeah. He's in my notebook. I just haven't got my notebook to hand now. So what we got? We're going to be around a little bit longer, folks. We've got riders well down the field to come in. Are you okay hanging on, Damon, for the riders to come in? I'm prepared to sit here. There we go. And you can see, as while watching the riders coming in, Damon's put the Tour du Monde 2022 up on screen for you. And that takes place from the 8th to the 23rd of January. It's, I think you'll agree, probably one of the premier events on the calendar, and certainly on RGT. We ran it for the first time last year. I did coverage, although I was working for Team 3R at the time. But I did do quite a lot of coverage on it, and you can find that on my YouTube channel if you want to go and check it out. As we watched Ian Hurst from 3R coming in, big fella. But yeah, the Tour du Monde, there we go. Yeah, just turning the pedals coming in. Well done, Ian. And Poniatowski from Moonriders. Yeah, the Tour du Monde 2022 promises to be a really special tour, because we're going to be more prepared this time around than last time in terms of coverage. I know ZMS are going to cover it as much as they can, and certainly I'm going to be covering it as well when ZMS are AWOL. So it promises to be a what's the word I'm looking for? A well distributed tour, let's put it that way. There'll be lots of live coverage, and I'm hoping all the big hitters decide to take part in it, because it is the premier tour on RGT. We watch Hudson coming in. Eric. So how many more have we got coming in? We got two. I think we got 4 more riders to come in. 5 more riders to come in. But it does look like a couple of the riders are taking it relatively easy towards the back end of the field. We do like to try and cover every rider in tour stages like this coming into the finish. But I will say that if we think that riders are not racing, i.e., you know, they're just spinning the pedals at ridiculously low wattage, then that's not really fair to hang around. And I believe we shouldn't hang around for a rider that's just spinning the pedals. You know, we should finish his broadcast and move on, because we've all got families as well. So it's incumbent upon the riders even further down the field to race and not just spin the pedals. Now, while we're watching these last couple of riders coming in, I will mention as well, we've got various tours. I'm saying we, OTR, have got various tours coming up, both before Christmas and then certainly in the new year. But we also now do a news broadcast every Monday, just after lunchtime. And I'm your host, and what I do is I cover all the weeks and weekends racing. So I'll basically give you the results and all the news, and then we'll discuss, you know, what is upcoming and some of our future plans as well. And there's a bit of an announcement on Monday. Something which I'm going to plan and put forward. So check it out. I'll put the links in the Facebook groups to the news broadcast, and it'll be going out live. In future weeks I may consider pre-recording it, but this Monday, because A, I've been so busy, and B, we've got a house full of sick children, I just haven't had the time to pre-record it, so it will be going out live, I think. I don't think see me doing it this weekend. I think I'm going to have to just do a live broadcast Monday lunchtime. So we've got, is it Fishback? Yeah, Fishback and Lewis on the road. Have we got anybody else coming up? And there you go. You can see on screen now we've got the OTR Tour calendar. Now these are the big events. There's going to be events slotted in between these, because you can see that there's the Tour of Latin America. That's a 5-day tour that kicks off on the 1st of December. That promises to be a good tour. Then you've got the Creme de la Creme, the Tour du Monde. That goes off in January from the 8th to the 23rd. Then the Tour of Oceania kicks off in February. That's a 4-day tour. Then the next big tour, another 2-week tour, is the Tour of North America. That's also in February, but towards the middle to the end of Feb. Then you've got another 5-day tour, the Tour of Asia. And you've got the Tour des Alpes, which was previously the Tour de Suisse, and then called the Tour des Alpes. But now this will be the second running of the Tour des Alpes, and what a fantastic event that was. It was probably the hardest stage race that there's been so far on RGT, and it was pretty spectacular. We had some fantastic racing and some worthy winners. So that returns next October. But what's not on the screen, and what will get announced on Monday in the news programme, but we've also got Chris O'Hearn, which many of you will know from his Omniums and time trials and and crits that he runs. Well, Chris O'Hearn is running a series for us in Dubai, and that I think starts on Sunday, this coming Sunday. Could be wrong, but I think I'll announce it on Monday anyway. We'll do an official announcement of that. But yeah, yeah, I'm struggling to remember when it actually does start. Maybe I should have made a note of that one. But so OTR have got a lot going on. Now, how many riders have we got? We've got Lewis, Nicholas, Liendo on the road. Liendo looks to be a long way off the back. Saying a long way, 3 kilometers. Yeah, you can see from the graphic, folks, that I'm not so sure. Is that working now? Yeah, I think he's just refreshed it, so we've got it working. Obviously, the white dots that you can see towards the back of the field, they're the ZMS cameras. So they're the bots. Discount them. So basically, you can see on screen. You should be able to see 4 riders, 4 dots on screen. 21st of November. Yes, thank you. I couldn't quite remember. That's very kind of you, Andre. Yeah, this is my friend Chris O'Hearn that's going to be running that, so you can be assured it will be a really nice series. Chris used to live out in Dubai, so he knows the roads personally. Paul Nichols has digitized them for him, so promises to be an exciting series. And I think he's going to switch around between Omniums, TTs, crits. So it should be an interesting series. It's only going to be short, but yeah, it should be really interesting. And we'll cover that live, folks. It can often be difficult, spare a thought for your commentators, because it can often be difficult to sort of like fill out the broadcast at this stage of the broadcast. Basically, trying to find something to chatter on about and stay focused, which is no disservice to the riders. I enjoy watching the riders at the tail end of the stages coming in, just like I enjoy watching the riders further up the field. It's also a chance for me to learn people's names and make notes, which I invariably do, so that next time around I can usually give the rider a shout out, or usually remember that I've got a terrible memory, which is why I write them down. But yeah, usually I can get my notepad out. And looking forward to some RGT races now that the calendar really looks busy and we have many choices. I agree with you, Andre. In fact, some might say there's too many events, but you know, rather too many than too little. There is certainly a lot to choose from. And I'll be honest, as a commentator and as somebody that wants to get back to doing my own streams as well as working for ZMS, I'm finding it difficult because I'm being kept so busy by Damon over at ZMS. I'm not having the time to do my own. And to be fair, I do enjoy commentating and not actually having to jump on the bike or having to worry about that side of it. When you're just commentating, it's a lot easier to do. And I think the quality is better. Damon's pointed this out to me. The quality when you're riding and trying to commentate at the same time, and no disrespect, but you know, you've only got to look at some of the other riders that race and try to commentate. I'm not going to mention names, but you probably know who I'm referring to, and it just doesn't work for me. I think the quality suffers, and I've done it myself in the past. And to be fair, the broadcasts I've done where I've ridden and tried to commentate haven't been anywhere near the standard as, like when I did the Tour de Monde and I stopped riding and decided just to do the commentary. The stages where I did the commentary only were far better produced than the stages where I actually rode, even though I enjoyed riding. I didn't ride that much because I remember taking ill partway through the tour, so I concentrated on just covering it, and thankfully I was able to do that quite successfully. I mean, if you haven't checked out my YouTube channel and my videos, check out some of the Tour de Monde videos, because they really are pretty special. Certainly the early stages where we had OTR and Rasio Racing battling it out for the early positionings. Really good racing. Anyway, we're going to watch this rider coming in. I think we are anyway. So what we got? 2.3 kilometers. A few minutes more yet, but I don't mind sitting here waiting. What time we got? Coming up to 10 o'clock. Have time for a cup of tea? Thank you, Andre. Yeah, it's nice. You know, I don't need praise, but it's nice. It's nice to get people saying I do a good job. Thank you very much. I enjoy it, and to be fair to Damon, I mean, if you look at the quality of these broadcasts, the graphics are stunning. The frame rate is always right up there. The quality on screen is just it's just beautiful. So I enjoy doing it. If it was poor quality and you couldn't read the names on screen, then I don't think I'd enjoy it as much. But the fact that it's a really professional setup is why I came on board. I mean, I was thrilled to bits to be asked, and once I'd done my first one and got over the nerves, and then my second one was still a little bit nervous. I think I've dropped the nerves now. I'm not polished yet, but we'll get there. But I think I'm gaining experience with every broadcast I do. And what I like about the broadcast is I know my stuff when it comes to the racing and some of the top races. I really know my stuff. I can usually call out the tactics like I did in race 1 in this series with No Pins Race 3R. I mean, I called their tactics perfectly, and it didn't pay off for them, which is a little bit of a shame after all the hard work they put in. But then that speaks volumes to how hard, you know, the other riders worked. And yeah, it was really very enjoyable. Oh, as we watch the goat there at the side of the road, or ibex, whatever it was. So yeah, I enjoy this. It's good fun. I will just mention one. Maybe I need to. I'd like to know why Nick Greenhalgh struggled tonight. Is he just getting back into it? Is he just coming back? Because to be honest, a rider like Nick, I would have expected him to be, you know, in the top 10, and yet I don't think we even saw him finish. So I wonder whether he's just returning to racing or what's happening there. No doubt I will find out. I will look into that. And Damon's just telling me that RGT database isn't working at the moment, so yeah, we can't even pull up the results live on RGT DB at the moment. So here we go, he's just getting onto the slopes of the last climb. So this is going to hurt a little bit, but only 1.3 kilometers to go. What I'll mention again, folks, while we're watching Leendo coming in, the Tour du Alps, which was previously known as the Tour de Suisse before we had to change the name, the Tour du Alps, go and check out some of the videos, because Paul Nicholls, I gave him the nickname Cruella. For those of you that don't know who Cruella is, then you need to go and watch 1001 Dalmatians. But Cruella, Nicholls, as we've now called him, was putting in like 10-15% climbs within the last kilometre of a lot of the stages. I mean, these poor riders were all, you know, they were climbing like thousands of meters of climbing and then having to finish it off with like 15% sections in the last few hundred meters. I mean, his cruelty knew no bounds. It was horrendous. I mean, it was fun. It was fun to commentate on, but fun for me. But it certainly wasn't fun for the riders. And that's what made it such a good tour, because it was bloody hard. I mean, nobody who finished that tour, and the riders, like we're watching Leendo here, that came in towards the back end of the field. I remember on the Queen stage, it took the winners 2 hours to complete the Queen stage. There was that much climbing in it. And as I say, there was stupidly steep sections right at the end of that 2 hours. But then the riders at the back of the field, it took 4 hours. 4 hours to ride the Queen stage and come in. And we covered it. We covered every rider coming in, which was just, yeah, it was silly. So, like I say, if you haven't checked out some of the videos, you don't have to watch them all. Just go and check them out and click on them and watch the final few meters. And you'll see what I mean. He really did make the riders suffer in that tour. And I rated it as probably the hardest tour yet on RGT. So 800 meters to go, the steepest section still to climb. And then I don't know when I'm back. Possibly Monday night, I think. Because this Moonriders tour, folks, it runs on Monday, Tuesday and Fridays. So we'll be back for stage 4 on Monday, stage 5 on Tuesday. Now, I believe both of those stages will be covered live. I'll be doing commentary on both of them. Come on, fella, you're nearly home. I mean, it always amazes me that a rider can stick it out and keep going. You know, he's finishing long after the other rider's finished, but he's sticking it out, sticking with it. Which is why basically I hang around and I stick with it. I always feel that if the riders are prepared to put in the work and the effort, then yeah. And you can tell he's tired now. He's getting towards the top of the climb. So let's just have another look through these results, and as I say, you can see that there's no greenhog at all. So what happened? But the big question and takeaway for me is obviously Gav, Casper and Steinley and Wouter all scored good points tonight, and Christoph all scored good points tonight. But without being able to pull up the RGTDB website, which is down at the moment, I don't know what the tour this tour standings is at the moment. Whether Wouter has clung on to his yellow jersey or whether somebody else has taken it from his shoulders. The only person I can see taking, well, I'm saying only, no, Casper could possibly, I don't know where Casper was. I'm musing, folks, I'm just simply musing. As soon as the broadcast ends, I'm going to go away and see if I can dig out and find out what the standings are. And then obviously I'll give this result out with my news show when I do it on Monday, along with all the other races we've covered. I'll do a roundup on Monday. We'll give the results out. So yeah. I know Nick, I could be mistaken. Was it the SDW race he was in, Andre? But basically, Nick is he's a well-known rider. I'm pretty sure he's taken part in international competitions over on Swift, where they had to turn up in the studio and everything was verified, and you know they did it under the cameras. I'm pretty sure that's the same guy. I hope I'm not mistaken, but I don't think I am. I'm sure that's the same Nick, and if it is, he's a really top class act rider. So, but these are all things I make. Well done, Urko. Well done, sir, for coming in. Lantern Rouge, but that's everybody, folks. That's the end of the broadcast. we're going to wrap it up here and say good night, and we'll see you on Monday. Same time, same place in... Oh, here we go. This is stage 4. I was hoping we'd get the graphic up. So, longer distance on Monday, 32 kilometers. A bit less elevation than we've had today, but they're still going to feel the almost 700 meters. And now this will be one that Matt Looker will want to do, because he'll probably know these roads in real life. Matt's from the Isle of Wight, so he should know these roads. Perhaps somebody will message me on Monday and tell me. But yeah, he should know these roads in real life, so it should be a good race. I assume he'll be back for it, and I'm looking forward to commentating. It's getting exciting now with tonight's result, with Wouter falling down the standings a little. That's going to open up the points classification, give other riders a chance to catch up, and that makes for more exciting racing, folks. And I, for one, I'm really looking forward to it. Can't wait. So have a good weekend. Don't forget the news broadcast on. Here we go. Ah, there we go, look. What a star this Andre is. Okay. So, yeah. Interesting. So Wouter has still got a nice 20-point gap at the top of the standings. Gavi's moved up into second place now with 5. Wouter's got 545. This is after 3 results. And Gavi's got 525 points in total. Max Stanley has moved up into 3rd place. And look at Jan Linden Poco go. He's now in 4th place, and Ryan is in 5th. So everything to play for, folks. This is looking good. But don't forget, riders can drop their worst result. So even though we haven't had Matt Looker and Steve Brearley taking part tonight, they'll be back. They'll be back to take part, and I'm pretty sure both of them will do 7 events. So they're going to obviously fit in somewhere into that leaderboard, and you haven't got to forget that. Anyway, on that note, folks, I'm going to say good night and thank you for watching. Everybody take care. Check out my news program on Monday, and then we'll see you at 7:30 p.m. UK time on Monday evening. Stay safe, everybody. Bye for now.
to approximately 15 great white shark. They're advising that you exit the water.